So it's quite long, it's quite lengthy to an extent, obviously. Just kind of like dot points and overall summary at the end of some things. So Higan Eruthyll or Eruthyll, nobody fucking knows how to say the name, but that's that. Keep in mind that some things may not be 100% accurate and may change in the future, as per usual. Then games may change in the future, but gameplay and battle mechanics. Before you battle, you set a formation, as we can see. You set a formation. In the end, I don't think it means too much, right? Because you set the formation, and then your character just move, right? So because it's not like they're like stuck in place, they just move around the battlefield as they cast their abilities. So their formation is like a bit more of like a encouragement to play in a certain area, not so much a determined place where you're going to put them, which is quite nice. Top left, the back button is a class info. And element counter info, which we'll get back to later. Sometimes these there is buffs and red marks on the boxes placed your unit, and that unit get the buff. The red box is enemies preemptive attack, so you got to be careful. Oh, preemptive attack, eh? That's kind of interesting. Not that that's also going to play a big factor in my opinion. It doesn't look like it will be a big factor. You just have to not put your unit there, right? So you just put it to, you'll put it in the unit that in the slot that's closest to the one that you did, right? If it just so happens to be in the red space. In battle, your unit will attack automatically with basic attack, and you can use your active skill and ultimate, which you can drag the active attack towards the enemy. I tried only tapping it and doesn't seem to cast it. Oh, really? You have to aim it. That's good actually. That's pretty good. Incentive on aiming the ability is pretty good in my opinion. It means that you are in charge of everything, unless obviously you set it to autoplay. If you set it to autoplay, then I'm assuming it would just autocast it. But if it's set to, yeah, as you said, actually there is auto battle and 2x speed. AI seems to be smart. There's also damage summary during it, which is top right, and after battle, which is there. Okay, that's pretty cool. I do like the incentive on the player having to be the one to cast ability. You can't just tap the screen for the sake of it, which is quite nice. There's different type of active skill. I'll name that. I had tried damage, interrupt, healing, and possibly more. I'll go about what they do in details later. There's 2 stagger mechanics, which is interrupt and shield burst. Now, there's actually another one, but it works the same as interrupt, except any CC works. The requirement is that the enemy has to use the chant. Minor detail. Interrupt is when the enemy is charging up their attack. You will need a unit that has an interrupt active skill or ultimate. Oh. So this is like a quick time, or like a quick time event essentially, right? You see the enemy casting an ability and you have to quickly try to use your own interrupt skill to interrupt them from casting their ability, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, okay, you'll get a bit of a cast on the ability, so they'll be casting Toxic Clouds, and you have to cast an ability, and you interrupt the ability. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like, skill-based gameplay, right? You have to interrupt the fucking guy. Shield burst happens when the enemy bar below their HP hit the limit from accumulating damage from your units. The stun lasts until the bar goes back to 0. Yeah, just a weakness break or a stagger. Fair enough. Classes and elements. There are 6 different classes and 5 different elements. We have the Guardian, Hoplite, Assassin, Ranger, Caster, and Adiatrix. You could just put healer, you know, guys. Higan, you could just put healer. It's fine. It's absolutely fine to put healer. You know, it's okay to put healer in. But whatever. And elements is fire, wind, and water. Light and dark. Wind? That looks like wind. It doesn't look like leaf. It looks like wind. But fair enough. Character and upgrades is units level up and ascend, which is pretty standard. You unlock passives at level 10 and active skill level 30. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You just level up the characters. Leveling up characters is something I'm not going to pay attention to much, just because it's, you know, you're leveling up a character. It's pretty standard in gacha games. You're just leveling up him in some way, right? You can level up their skills, and there's 2 active skills. Oh, they also get an art style change a bit, or you can toggle something. Okay, very cool, very cool. In which you can only activate one at a time, and it gives more versatility to the unit. Awaken is basically a slimmed down skill tree where you get stats and talents. The dupes goes into there. There's 6 phases, which are unit star rank. The first 2 phases give bonus damage, while the rest onwards give 2 options of a passive to choose from. Oh. I see. So you get a stat boost for the first 2, and then after that, so increase AP by 12 attack potency, I'm assuming, or attack power. by 12.5 after defeating an enemy. This effect lasts 8 seconds. When there left no more than 3 alive enemies on the battlefield, increase AP by 12.5. Ah, interesting. So you can kind of try to build your character towards a specific playstyle. The obvious choice here is the bottom one, in my honest opinion. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, actually, that you get a bit of a choice. You can choose to build your characters in specific ways. A bit more freedom. And there's also tags of what the unit Jesus Christ. Of what the unit do, which are listed the ones I saw. Damage, burst, AoE defense. Okay, so bunch of different buffs. Okay, cool. Stun control. Blind, knockback, pull in, group, interrupt, energy recharge. Energy recharge, dislocation, dash, pet, and share. Sharing sharing. That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty cool. Special amalgamation of different things. For example, apply exile to a target. If it is an enemy, reduce defense. If it is an ally, heal them. When the target is exiled, remove the target from the battle temporarily. Interesting. The gear system, or in the game, it's called play. There is 3 slots, and it is a 2 to 3 piece set bonus. Unfortunate. Every unit has its own signature play. Play is acquired through Gacha and Labyrinth. This is cool. It doesn't like the naming doesn't matter of it really in the end. Like it's just equipment that you put on a character. Unfortunate that it is only 2 to 3 sets, so you don't really have much creativity. You're not gonna get any fun builds like you will in something like HSR. We have 6 different slots, and you can kind of like build around with things that they add in the future. This is just gonna be get the best in slot for the character and be on your merry way, right? It's essentially like the Stigmatas from Honkai, right? Simple as that. Farming, auto battle is the only easy way of farming. That's where you can AFK and let it do its own thing. You can farm it at 3 different stages at once when you reach level 50. You can also set it where you can run out of stamina while farming. You can let it automatically use stamina refill, depending on what you set it to. So a bit of freedom with auto farming, so a very auto game. Here is where offline auto farming comes into play. I presume you can log out after you start farming and then do something else for a few minutes or hours. This is what you want to do for a long farm run. A very intuitive, I guess, for auto farming, which is not something I would be doing, obviously. Game mode, adventure is where you play the story. Okay, regarding the real world and Fantasyland, it's just a story mode, I'm assuming. Chapters are unlocked through leveling up. In Fantasyland, this is what you'll unlock after completing a story chapter or region. Think of it as a hard stage when you 100% cleanse the region. You unlock the passive income of credits that you get from that region. Okay, higher difficulty, you unlock bonus rewards from completing it. Fairly standard. The Outland, which is where your materials and challenges are available. Realm of Abundance is where you can farm your material. Realm of Fighters is where you where the challenges stages are. Okay. Spirit Contractor, a bunch of other stuff. Cool. So far, so good. Deep Maze is basically a tower game mode. Oh, we all love a tower game mode. There's 100 floors, and there's also a leaderboard. I'm not sure how long Deep Maze cycle is. There is a leaderboard reward for top 100. Okay, reward for top 100. Interesting. But we all love a tower system. These are always great. Infinite scaling, or quote-unquote infinite scaling. You love to see it. Mesmerizing Labyrinth is like a roguelike game mode for the game. You can earn, play, and you can earn, play, and outline mark. I need to get used to that. The play is the equipable item. That's such an interesting sentence that makes sense in regards to the game. But you can earn plays and outland marks, currency, which can be used to buy play and other stuff in the shop. Okay, Mesmerizing Labyrinth. But a lot of labyrinths in this game, eh? A lot of labyrinthizations. A bit of a gameplay. Choosing a door, okay. Interesting. The gameplay seems to be very much a bigger preference on interaction in the 3D space, but not necessarily it being action combat, right? It's the interaction in a 3D space where you control a set of characters in an area, kind of like an open world, but you don't actually control them with WSD. It's more like you tell them actions to do, and they'll move according to those actions, which is kind of interesting. I don't think I've played a game like that before, or at least I can't remember one. I guess it's just kind of like an RTS, really, right? Just kind of like an RTS. Director Showdown is basically PvP. which is PvP, fair enough. There's two different types, Major Arena and Coliseum. I prefer the former is one squad and the latter is 3 squads. Always everyone loves one squad. It's just simpler and quicker. Not sure what Isolated Tower is, but it seems to be a seasonal thing. A trope is basically a town system or whatever it is called where you can collect resources, craft items, expedition, do more. Rhythm game mode is also available there. Oh, that's interesting. A rhythm game mode, kind of like Archland, where it has just like this random rhythm game mode available in the town system. That's a bit interesting. Gacha. There's 2 types of banners. One is the character wish and the other is the play wish. All the banners share the same rate and pity. SSR is 2%, SR is 19%, and R is 79%. Now, I'm pondering for a second. I don't know why. I understand why it's those percentages, but for some reason I don't like the fact that it's 79 and 20. Sorry, 79 and 19. I don't know. I just double 9, dude. Couldn't you make it like double 8 or some shit? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I just I'm having a heart attack. Let's go through the character wish first. Standard and limited banner use the same currency to pull on both standard and limited. You need star sigil, which equates to 180 Dubrio still? Whatever the fuck that is. Premium currency. 1800 for a multi. A beginner banner, which give you SSR on the 20th pull. Yes, the classic thing. You always get it guaranteed. It's a launch thing. It's not a permanent thing, but it's a launch thing for... Or maybe it's like a starter character thing. Yeah, I guess it's starter, right? So brand new players just always get this. You'll get an SSR guaranteed. You get one of these ones. Who looks cool? Media, Nuno, Gildan, Basel, or Chiemcom? Interesting name. They all look cool, I guess. Standard character banner, which is just a different visual. A Nuno, Rocco, same thing. A radar banner, which is going to be the featured lady, which is Eluya. Eluya? Something like that. And then the radar. For the play wish, you need inspiration sigil, which equates to 60 premium currency or 600 for a multi. Okay, a lot cheaper actually. That's what, a third of the price of a character. That's a pretty good idea though. I feel like always the weapon should be cheaper than the character, right? It goes to kind of show that maybe like Genshin should do that to maybe incentivize rolling on weapon banners. Is like reduce the overall price of a 10 roll for Genshin's weapon banner to like, I don't know, 1200 or some shit instead of 1600 all the time. That would incentivize people to maybe roll on weapon banners a bit more. 1200 or maybe just like, maybe not 800 because that would be like, that's half price, right? Then again, that wouldn't be bad, 800 with the shitty pity that it has. Maybe. Anyway, you need inspiration sigils, standard play banner, same thing. You just have a list of things that you can get, percentages. Rate up play banner. I do like, obviously, they're going along the thing of like a pseudo kind of Honkai, obviously, where each playwright has its like, also not playwright, play has its own like unique art style, and each different piece has its own unique art style, which is kind of cool. I like that. The summon animation. Oh yeah, I did notice this. I do like the summon animation. You kind of draw your own shape. You just draw a shape. And then you like, it happens. And this part takes a while. It has to like upgrade to the max. I guess you could skip it if you wanted. That looks cool. And then it draws your own shape in the last one or whatever, whichever one of the legendary is, it highlights it. I do like that actually. It's very unique. Decent story, good music. There's voiceover. Every cutscene is animated, good animation, but if at times it feels off. Combining all that, I'd say it's pretty immersive. Aside from that, there's some things that need to be fixed and refined, as per usual, obviously. A good character design, cool weapon design, great art, illustrations, good alt animations. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Good character design. It looks like Korean design. Is the game Korean? I can't remember. No, it's not, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's not Korean, right? But it looks like it has Korean character design. Or Korean, like, game, like, generic Korean, like, very over the top, but also not too crazy, right? It's over the top in terms of, like, what it's trying to do, but doesn't like, startle you. And the animation, pulls out her guns, close up, shoots some shit. The UI is easy to navigate and isn't too convoluted. I'll be the judge of that. Trope, a bunch of shit at the bottom. You know what? Keeps the center clear for the most part. We could honestly, UI, this could be minimized and this could be scooted over a bit. And this could be like made a bit smaller so the center is a bit more free. I'd say that's like what could happen. I know it's on a mobile, obviously this is on mobile, so it's a bigger the better. But for my liking, the top stuff does not have to be super visible. It could be made a bit smaller, and that would make it chef's kiss of a UI. I know if it's Chinese by Bilibili. Ah, gotcha then. Okay. Well, it does look like, to me, it looks like at least this character is very, like, at least I could see this being a character in Archland, for example. Right? I could see this character being in Archland. So that's what I mean by that. I'm going to add a few things that I forgot to mention before, or I found out after. The stats, if you're curious. Crit rate, crit damage. Oh, is that a base of 150 crit damage? I guess they're using they're including the base 100 multiplier, which is fair enough. And then, so each character has 50% increased crit damage. Okay, so fair enough. So that means their damage is being multiplied by just 1.5. Essentially, is how you look at that. Crit rate is base. You don't have any crit rate to start with. Okay, interesting. A bonus attack speed is calculated, which is nice. I like that. Magic resistance and armor is calculated as is the physical resistance. Okay, that's cool. It's always good to know the stats. Alt recharge, magic penetration, energy refunding. Okay, interesting. The refunding one is kind of wacky because you can do some crazy stuff with that if it works how I think it works. You can shorten the alt animation in the settings, which is good. You can change it in pause in battle settings, not in lobby settings. Oh, beaut, always do this. This is the biggest quality of life you can have. Nobody wants to watch the same animation 45 million times, right? I got sick of the Epona animation. I got sick of the Herrscher of Human Ego. I got sick of Zhongli's animation. I got sick of all their fucking animations, dude. Always add these shits. I don't want to see their fucking animations, man. I just don't. Sometimes in Adventure Battle, you get cool little mechanics that relate to the story chapter. For this, it's the 3 skills on the left. Yes. I think I understood. But not quite. But, alright, fair enough. I'm assuming it's like a little lore tidbit, right? In an adventure battle, you get cool little mechanics that relate to the story chapter. I'm assuming that you have to kind of know what happened in the story chapter to understand, right? That's fair enough. There's a limited banner that just got released. The only difference is that this uses Flame Sigil. The conversion is the same, and I assume that limited banner uses sigils that is their own element unique to the limited characters. It isn't shared with the other banners, and it doesn't carry over. Ooh, minus points there. Pity should always carry over no matter what, in no matter whatever game. Pity should always carry over. And no, there's no worse feeling than investing in one banner, and then the investment that you just had in that banner is completely removed. So always have pity carry over. Doesn't matter what game, it should always carry over. If your game obviously has a pity system. The play banner that the limited character signature play is the same as the raid up. Okay. Okay, closing thoughts. Here are my thoughts. It's a fun game with a unique gameplay. The battles are fast-paced with strategies in them, which I enjoy. The gameplay loop is fine. Character upgrades are neat, and I like the different playstyle build you can do with the active skill and awakened skill tree. I like the fact that the character skill and alter have more in-depth in them than just damage and heal support. I also really appreciate this, that it's a bit deeper than just Unga Bunga or Dunga Lunga, right? The gear system has no RNG and easy to obtain through Labyrinth, although signature gear is hard to get, as per usual. It's kind of like how it should be done. It should be kind of easy to get gear, and it shouldn't be RNG based. But getting the best gear for the character should be a bit more of a trial, right? Early progression is easy, as I managed to hit level 38 in a day and a half, 43 in 2 days. Well, that's quite a lot, actually. Farming is alright. I wish you can skip it. The different types of materials needed for characters is a good amount. I wish you could skip it as well, but that's fine, whatever. I can't say much about the end game, as I'm not there yet. Fair enough. Gacha is alright, considering I got a raid up SSR and it's easy to earn rolls. Okay, good to hear. Only problem is that this minus for me is that pity doesn't carry over. It's always fun to see pity carry over because, hey, I don't want to be fucked in the ass because I decided to invest in a character that looked interesting, but now it's over and now I'm fucked. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. The story's okay at best. It's very predictable and the pacing is too fast. Oof, unfortunate. There's no effort on localization and the dialogues are a bare minimum. Unfortunate again. Music is okay, art is a yes, and the UI is neat. Skill and ultimate animations are nothing too crazy. Well, to be quite frank, if this is the best we're going to get from an ultimate animation, I'm not sure if there's much after this or if she does something on the battlefield. But if this is the best we're getting, yeah, it's like it's not too crazy. She pulls out her guns, right? So that's not that incredible. Overall, I did enjoy the game, and I'd say it's more or less similar to how I felt with Eversoul. Even though I haven't experienced everything the game can offer, I don't see myself playing this for a long time. In terms of gacha, it's 6 out of 10 for now. It's not bad, it just needs improvement on certain aspects. That's the end. Isa best girl. Oh, she does look like best girl, right? She does look like best girl. Yeah, okay, she does do something on the battlefield. Okay, so you get a cool like mediocre animation, and then something happens on the battlefield. Okay, I'd still probably want something to happen in the animation more so than her just pulling out her guns. So that's that. It sounds okay. A few points that could be improved on is obviously, in my opinion, at least in your gacha game, your gacha system has to be good, and no pity carryover is a big part. The rates seem fine. 2% for an SSR is like not the worst I've seen. I think the worst I've seen is like what Genshin and what is it? Well, Genshin has pretty shit like SSR like 5-star rates, right? It's like 0.6 or some shit, 0.6%. I can't remember, but it's not bad rates, and you earn rolls pretty frequently. But still, a pity carryover is a bare minimum for me in most games, because it's just a terrible feeling for it to not carry over. That's simply it. The gameplay loop being fine, I think I can see it being fine as well. The auto battle, you did say it was smart, which I have no doubt about it. But I do like that one fact that you can't just tap the ability, but you have to aim it, meaning that if you're gonna play the fight, you're gonna have to play the fight, right? If you're gonna try, you're gonna have to try. You can't just half-ass it, which I do enjoy that. I don't believe in half-assing a lot of things. But me myself, I'm the king of half-assing, so it is what it is. What else is there? I do like this as well, that characters aren't just Unga Bunga, and I do like that part in the skill tree where as you unlock a character and you get like the dupe parts of them. What was it called again? As you get more dupes, you kind of just like can pick between 2 different nodes, so you can kind of customize your characters to a specific playstyle that you want. So do you want to be a kind of like a chain killing character where you get a damage boost based on killing enemies, or do you want it based on how many enemies are on the field? The less, the better, right? I like that a lot because, well, one thing that a lot of gacha games lack is customization and personal customization with characters, which obviously is a fair enough thing. Like, best in slot is a concept, but not enough customization internally in the actual character to make it feel like you can actually have a unique playstyle. Whilst this kind of feels like you probably could have a unique playstyle depending on your choices. Farming is alright. Skipping is a massive thing. You have to be able to skip in a lot of these games, specifically if it's an auto combat game. Like skipping, I guess you just set it to auto complete and you fuck off for like 20 minutes, which is whatever. And that's not up my alley, so that's unfortunate. Easy to obtain plays, fair enough. No, I haven't seen the endgame content. That's fine. Endgame content is not going to be anything ridiculous. It's just going to be usually a weekly resetting system, usually, or some sort of roguelike system, right? So it's not going to be anything crazy. So far, it's it literally, I think the rating of 6 out of 10 is pretty accurate. It depends on what you're into. If you're into really the AFK style of game, then this would probably be bumped up to like a 7 or 8, right? But if you're not into the AFK type, then this will be probably bumped down a few points. For me, I'm not super into the AFK stuff, right? I do like either being able to fully do it actively and get everything done in mere minutes, or I want to sit down and play the game actively for like an hour or so, right? So I'd probably give it like a 5, right? Because that's just me, really. That's just my personal approach on this. Seems right. Seems right. I don't know if we'll play this on launch. We may play it in the future after its launch, but I don't know if I'll play this one on launch. Depends on when it launches. So far, 5 out of 10 for me.